What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we're going to be talking none other than about what happened in the last couple weeks. So without further ado, let's talk about Beelzemon itself. Let's get into it. So first off, we have the top 16 from the most recent regional, which, boy oh boy, is this going to be everybody's controversial. There's 118 Beelzemon X, 70 Hunters, about 60 War Greymons, 55 Red Hybrid, 26 Black War Greymon X, 25 Machine Dramons, 14 All Force, 14 Gallants, 13 Bloom Lords, 12 Crosshearts, and 74 others with less than 10. So basically a huge chunk there of people going rogue and trying to see if their deck would work. Yellow Hybrid probably being the only person in security control, probably only being like 3 people. So definitely in the other category, but complete 100% conversion rate in the Yellow Hybrid. We'll have to see what that happens to be. But Beelzemon X taking 8 slots, Hunters followed by 2, Red Hybrid 2, Black War Greymon, and War Greymon each taking 1. So at least there was 2 Greymon tribal-esque decks taking slots, but we'll have to see further into this. There is no listings yet, but we can take a look at PPG's most recent case event, which is huge to take a look at. And it had the same results. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Beelzemon X's for them to work with. And we could easily go in and take a look at all these lists, and we could see a definite conversion rate here that Beelzemon X is one of the decks to be afraid of. I mean, to be honest with you, it's probably one of the most budget-friendly decks to get into, and it is not that hard to actually break the mold in it, as they say. So, taking a look at the deck in generalization first, what kind of deck is it? How does it play? So from a standpoint, we have to take in the account that Impmon is one of the key factors of the deck that helps mill and get you to lethal presentation. All you have to do is get your opponent to hit them twice, and then this deck can basically clear out the rest of the security with no problem. Because of Beelzemon's X ability is when this Digimon has Beelzemon or X antibodies Digi-Evolutions, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack for every 10 cards in your trash. So this thing basically comes in. You can use an X antibody option with this Impmon right here that says if this Digimon has 20 or more cards in trash, this Digimon may Digivolve into Beelzemon from your trash for a Digi-Evolution of 3, ignoring its Digi-Evolution requirements. Which is huge because what you'll go into is maybe this Beelzemon when Digivolving trash top 4 cards in your deck. When a card is trashed from your deck, gain 1 memory for every 10 cards in your trash. When a card is trashed from your deck, this Digimon gains security +1. So this thing has an all turns. When a card is trashed from your deck, gain memory for every 10. This is a little powered. And then the security +1 to add more lethal into swinging, which can be led into a Beelzemon blast mode, restand, you know, get, if you have 20 more, gain 3 memory to apply more pressure that way. And it gets a little power crazy by itself. I mean, the deck has a lot of avenues. It has a lot of milling potential, which then leads into if you mill a Wizardmon, you gain a memory, and then Deathslinger gain you a memory. The deck plays in a casino kind of slots way where it wants to mill things out, and with the ability of I Am Mako and the Wizardmon being able to put something on top that you need from your hand. This one, just by returning 1 card from your hand onto the top of your deck, you gain a memory. And the more I Am Makos you have, the more devastating it can be because you can stack double wizards to mill and then gain a memory to extend plays. The deck has a lot of avenues. So what are we trying to get into the point of this video here is that, is this a tier 0 format? No. This deck is powerful. The deck can lose to itself. If it has a big blocker with protections, the deck can't really get over it very easily. There are other factors that lead into if this is happening, this ends here kind of situation. if you can set up a way of building up blockers or anything like that, you can really do some damage. I mean, with Beelzemon X antibody alone being able to clear out from 3 to 0, and they have 2 bodies, you're kind of in a bad spot. Like, there's nothing else you can really do against it, but hope to be able to remove the threat very easily. So stuff like this is very important. Beelzemon X antibody is one of those cards that you want to see kind of go away in a sense, or slow down the engine. We know that Ultimate Cup already hit this Impmon down, hoping this would slow this deck down a bit. Who knows? Is it the Impmon that's causing the issue, or is it one of the Wizard and the Death Slinger, kind of that 8 gain 1 memory situations that, yes, it's like having mini Hammer Sparks that are instantly going to go live no matter what you do, comboed in with an Ayamako. This is now basically giving you an extension that most decks can't even out. I mean, you can play your security rookies, but let's be honest, this one, when a card is trashed from your deck, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon, which stops these from milling you out, but even then, it doesn't even matter, because this card will just instantly pop the Digimon with prevent X happening. That's a huge thing I think might need to be addressed in the future, is that we need inheritables on bigger stacks. These rookies that are easy to get around is becoming a problem, because now Madoki betas are off. Everything else is just useless. The betas, the chews, anything that says prevent memory gain is offline, and that's a problem. And then you do have the option of maybe playing like the cards that say you can't, warp, which might help out in this matchup, because I think that might be a little bit better. It slows down the Beelzemon because you can't warp anymore. Now you can't do alternate cost, which might work. That's another option. I think that might help out, but stuff like that can lead to being another problem, because this Hitmon can delete one of your opponent's level 3, and it's inheritable just by milling 1 card. So that's another problem in itself. So at the end of the day, I don't know how you would resolve this. The deck's good, don't get me wrong. The deck's gonna be ain't going nowhere, but people are crying out, you need to hit this deck. This deck is way too broken. The problem comes down to a lot of the statistics here is that Beelzemon X definitely has a strong hold for this format, going into next format, and then it's still decent in BT-13 because the deck can do what it can do. It only needs to swing twice, and if your opponent doesn't have a way of going faster than you, or can build up a board state that this deck doesn't want to see, you're gonna not be going anywhere. I mean, yes, the deck can mill out. It can just do what it wants to do. But now with the fact of we have a mulligan in this sense, bad hands for this deck got almost eliminated, in my opinion. And what do I mean by that? Beforehand, when it wasn't a mulligan system, this Impmon didn't have a way of getting back into the deck if your hand had like 2 of these. So your opening hand, if you open 2 of them, you are instantly stuck with this Impmon. Now you can go like, well, this is now my engine with, let's say you had 2 Impmons of EX1, 2 plus Wizardmon, 1 Wizardmon, and then the rest of the line. Would you likely keep that? No, you would mulligan it away, hoping that these stay in the deck when you re-mulligan to grab your cards. Now the likelihood of them being in security gets slimmed down. The likelihood of them being your opening hand is slimmed down a bit, because now the security is played second. Now the deck has a new consciousness that it wasn't there before. Now you have better ways of manipulating the strategy in a way that it wasn't there before. Also in JP, because when we get it, it has a mulligan system now. And that can lead to changing up a lot of factors. Is this the end-all be-all for Digimon? No. Digimon's not going anywhere. The fact, does this deck need an emergency hit? I don't think so. I think it's fine. it might need it eventually, but we'll have to see. Depends on what happens with Ulti Cup. If it's still dominating in Ultimate Cup with the hit to Impmon, then we know it's the wrong hit. Then it's got to be Wizardmon or Deathslinger has to go. And that might be a key factor in design, because one Impmon slimmed down is not terrible. They'll just bump up. So what'll happen is this will go down, this will go up to compensate. So now this should be basically what lists will be playing. They'll use the Impmon from BT-2 to swing in, mill out. Then they'll just keep constantly cycling it in with their Beelzemons that'll play them for free. And then, boom, your opponent has to deal with it kind of situation. You're still milling the same amount of cards. You know, top 3, this one is just basically, you know, top 3 when milled itself. But, you know, stuff like this does start mattering, because what'll happen is with Rival Barrage, they'll just, if they need to, cycle in with Ayamako, go Rivals Barrage, play the Impmon on top again. You know, as long as this hits once and gets into a cycle rotation, all you're doing is basically Rival Barrage, play Impmon, Rival Barrage, play Impmon, and then boom, they're kind of just in a situation where, you know, as long as Ayamako or Wizardmon keeps putting back on the top, you can constantly do this and you'll still mill as much as you want. It's just getting to a point where, yes, this deck is kind of powerful, but is it above all else? No, there are some small counters you can do. If your deck has a way of being a strong wide board of blockers, you're good. If you have a big boy blocker that they can't answer, that's more powerful to you. Stuff like this can lead to being very much good interaction, but the fact of this deck can kill you at 3 at most instances is a huge problem. Any deck that can kill you on 3 is not healthy for a format, in my opinion, but we'll have to see where that goes anyway. But guys, hopefully this gives you an understanding that, one, I don't think this deck is above tier 1. Is it tier 0? No. Is it tier 1? Yes, it is best deck in format. It is by far. The deck is a casino style play, and it has potential. The deck's going to do what it wants to do. It'll always do that. And the problem is we don't have any interactions of slowing this deck down. You know, Beelzemon X into this, unless you have a way of stopping majority of that combo there, you're not really going to stop it. And that's huge, because we're going to have this for a good while. I expect many more regionals with this kind of pie cut situation, where it's either half the format or just a little bit over half, just because there's not always an out to this deck. The deck's going to do what it wants to do, and at the end of the day, unless you can get above 3 security when they swing, you're going to lose to that. So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace!